Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, apologies for the slightly croaky voice, but I might be a bit squeaky, but we'll work our way through. Have we got a clicker here? This one?
Yeah.
Which one?
I think it's just, yeah.
Oh, yes, there we go. Perfect. So first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Sophie Corness. I'm the Marketing and Student Recruitment Manager at the Royal National College for the Blind. And I deal with all the promotional aspects, but I also deal with a lot of the online aspects, both for our students and professionally as well. So I wanted to talk to you all today about really just a bit of an informal chat about navigating the digital world and giving you a few tips and tricks on sort of safety tips when you're using the internet. It's something that's becoming more and more prevalent today. A lot more of our sort of day-to-day life is carried out online, including things like banking, dating, purchasing things. So it's always handy to just be aware of the latest things that are going on. So first of all, just a few little facts and stats. Online safety does affect everyone, regardless of your age or how savvy you are with your tech. Research indicates that nearly 1 million British children aged between 11 and 16 were scammed online last year, and something like 9 million people across the UK were also victims of financial scams in 2024. So it is something that's really, really common. Is anyone brave enough to say that they've been scammed in the last few years online? I have. So the important thing is not to be embarrassed about it if it does happen, because there's some really clever sort of techniques to get your personal data and your money out of you out there, and it's really easy sometimes to fall victim to that, even if you are looking out for it. So that's the other aspect, is to make sure that that you're aware of some of these things that are coming up. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about some of these more technical things. There are various ways in which scammers can engage with you online, including things like sending you emails that might not be from who they say they are. There's a few easy things that you can do to identify that. So first of all, looking at the actual email. So if it looks like it's a little bit dodgy, then it probably is. Also not addressing you by your name, and incorrect spelling, incorrect grammar, things like that. So it's always worth just taking a step back, especially if you're receiving something that seems to be a fantastic deal and has time limits on it as well. For malware, malware tends to be about things like viruses, clicking on links. So again, if you're receiving a link via email, it's really important just to stop and think before you click, just to protect your software and your machine. A lot of this can result in identity theft. So basically what scammers want is your information, and that can be built upon your digital profile. So again, it's really important to make sure that you're not putting too much personal information out there publicly. And again, I have touched upon online scams, fake websites. There's a lot of online scams and fake websites that appear on social media like Facebook. And again, they tend to be time time limiting. So, buy now, we're running out of stock, that type of thing. Too good to be true as well. So if it's really super cheap and it's only going to be super cheap for the next hour, then it's worth sort of just taking a step back from that side of things. So again, ways in which you can protect your information, some really easy things that you can do. So strong passwords. So in days gone by, we were always told, don't write your passwords down. Well, nowadays you need passwords for everything, and it's really difficult to remember. So one of my recommendations would be to maybe use a password generator website, and also a lot of your computers can store your passwords for you. The other aspect is not to use the same password over and over again, although it's really tempting, and to avoid things like, dates of birth, personal information that may be available for online for scammers. So really it's just about updating your password as well on a regular basis. If you're on social media, who's on social media here? Me? Yeah, variety of different types of social media. Again, make sure that you're aware of privacy settings. Make sure that you know who is able to look at your personal information, your date of birth, where you live, where you work, where you go to school, all of those types of things. Just be aware that those sorts of things can be used as a sort of jigsaw identification. Secure browsing looks more at things like, is the website a real website? So quite often you get a little padlock at the front, which is at the front of the website page, the URL, and that means that it is secure. A secure website, so it's worth looking out for those types of things as well. And also you can look through on sometimes just putting in the website and saying scam or review. You can find out other people's experiences before you interact, before you pass data and information, and certainly before you part with money. Another easy way to protect your computer is to make sure you do those really, really annoying software updates, which come up right at the moment when you don't want them. So just making sure that you're keeping your computer as up to date as possible. And the last one is multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication. That sounds complicated, but it just simply means, if you're going to be buying something, for example, with, say, PayPal, they may say, we're going to send you a code to your phone, which just helps verify that you are who you say you are, and, it's not a scammer or someone using your data. Okay, so social media, really important one here. There's something like 56 million social media users in the UK. That's like 83% of the population. So lots and lots of us on social media. It's a really big thing for everyone, not just young people, but everybody across the board. I talked a little bit about the risks of sharing information, especially if you're on several different platforms. So if you're on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, all of those things, you may be sharing one piece of information on one platform, another piece on another, and a savvy scammer may be able to put that information together. So really important to explore how you can keep your privacy settings private, so you're sharing only among your friends. If you're not keeping your private space private, then it's really simple. Just think before you post. Think, do I want that out there forever? Do I want those pictures out there forever? Do I want that comment out? So strong opinions, strong political opinions perhaps, always worth just thinking again before you actually post. And again, thinking about how you're being influenced, if you're particularly tired or if it's late at night, just taking a step back before you actually post. Now, the other big thing at the moment is dating, making friendships online. It's a really, really huge part of how people meet, and it's really important to be quite cautious about interacting with others online, because sometimes people are not always who they say they are. That sounds really obvious, but people can be really, really clever about how they give over their kind of public profile online. So there's a couple of things that you can do just to kind of keep yourself safe. Making sure that, if you're going to meet online friends, or, you're going to meet them for the first time, make sure it's a public space, make sure you're meeting somewhere in a neutral area, and also make sure that you tell someone else that you trust where you're going and who you're going to be with, so that someone knows where you are. Again, really simple things that you can just protect yourself with until you fully trust the person that you're meeting. I also say that if you're going to be kind of meeting people, I think it's always important to be honest about yourself as well, so that there can be no miscommunication and no misunderstandings in advance. So I think it's really important that everyone is honest right from the very start. Then we will go on to cyberbullying. So again, very similarly like traditional bullying, there are some people that they're called trolls, and they do take a lot of pleasure in bullying people online, commenting on posts and things like that. And I think it's really important to remember that you can block these people. You can not engage with these people. So it's just important to be aware of, social media, also things like text and WhatsApp, especially within a sort of, work or school environment. That's when things can happen. And also not to be afraid of, not to be afraid of telling someone if this is something that's bothering you. So I think that's really important as well. So just moving very quickly onto the financial, because I'm cautious of timing and I haven't got a watch, so if someone can just go like that when I'm out of time. Financial transactions, I talked a little bit about the padlock at the top of the website, also HTTPS, which indicates that it's a secure website. Reputable payment gateways, that again sounds complicated, but actually it just means that you should be looking at other ways that you can pay. So things like MasterCard, PayPal, secure payments. Use your strong passwords. Welcome the two-factor authentication, because that will keep you safe. Most importantly of all, monitor those transactions on your bank account so you can see when there's unauthorized activity on your bank account. Very quickly, public Wi-Fi, just be very cautious because it's an open network. Use a virtual private network if you can, if you're out and about a lot, but sensibly avoid sensitive activities. So please don't do your banking on an open network, don't share information, try not to do shopping and stuff. And also you can turn off your auto connect and file sharing, which just means that people can't monitor what you're doing while you're using that network. So just key points to remember. So important to understand those privacy settings, being careful with sharing personal information, strong passwords, be aware of scams, really important to think before you post, protect those devices that you're using, think very carefully about online relationships, both dating and friendships as well, because it may be that those people have an ulterior motive. And don't be afraid, don't be embarrassed to report suspicious behaviour, because these people are very clever, and there's no embarrassment in being caught out. I've certainly been caught out as well. So I've got a few useful contacts up here, including password generator websites and various different handy websites, and our contact details, my contact details at RNC, but I'm here for the rest of the day. I've got a little stall out there, so you're very welcome to come and talk to me. I probably can't talk to you now, but it's probably a blessing. I'm happy to go into more detail if there's anything that you want to chat about. Any questions very quickly? Oh,
You
got
have
a couple.
From the online audience. Are there any services or resources that you know about to help people to check their privacy settings if they're not familiar with how to do that?
Yes, there are. I can give you some more information about that. There are a couple of places that you can go just to help to check with privacy settings. There are places. I also find like a handy teenager is always a plus. So if you have a handy teenager, a techie teenager in your life, then they're your go-to. So we had some lovely TVs donated to us at college, and none of us knew how to fit them, so we just gave them to the students, and they seemed to manage. So yeah, that's your plan B, really. But do come, I can share that information. Anyone else? Just over on the left, the gentleman on the left in the middle.
Hello, Sophie.
Hello.
Question regarding looking at technology and the modern trends. We are talking AI pretty much every single day at the moment, the two words. Do you have any tips regarding safety in regards to using AI services and also scams that could be done using AI services?
Yeah, I think it's a really, really good, valid point, and it's such a new technology. It's still evolving, so I think it's really important to be cautious. We have started looking at AI and exploring, and it's a wonderful piece of technology, but I think it's kind of like the internet when it first started. It's a bit of a wild west out there at the moment. So I think the key point really with AI is to, yes, explore, but also make sure that you're not believing everything that you're seeing or you're hearing online. It's something to watch for the future. Hang on, I think I've got one more slide. And this slide is very prevalent where, we're talking about online safety. All of it is an ongoing process. So, it's important to stay informed, adapt your practices as our technology evolves, because it's all happening so quickly now. In 5 years' time, all of this is going to look different again. So I've been a bit vague about that, but I think it is just important to make sure that you're reading, you're exploring more, and being vigilant on what's coming out in the future.